Most governments were hacked in the past year, and reports reveal ransomware continues to disrupt. And even paying up doesn't spare victims from data loss. While one report predicts turning the corner on ransomware soon, other experts aren't seeing the strong evidence just yet. That's coming up next on this episode of Telecom News Bytes, sponsored by 911 Inform, delivering next-generation 911 services along with Carey's Law and Bombs Act compliance for the enterprise today, and making every second count when it matters most. I'm your host, Mark Fletcher, and I'm Vice President of Public Safety Solutions at 911 Inform. Here's your News Bite for Wednesday, April 27th, 2022. Cybersecurity professionals often urge organizations to think of not if they'll be attacked, but when. And new studies indicate that for many governments around the globe, that when may have already happened. A CyberEdge report from November of 2021 found 68.2% of surveyed governments were compromised by one or more cyber attacks within the past 12 months. In a survey of 353 IT professionals employed by government agencies and educational institutions, provided by data management solutions company VM, found at least half of the respondents suffering from cyber attacks. It reported that ransomware caused outages at 52% of the public sector organizations. Both reports suggest that more than half of government agencies have fallen to attack, a significant rate, yet one that puts it ahead of the pack, according to CyberEdge. Cyber threats are diverse, including incidents like disrupted denial of service or DDoS attacks, ransomware and other malware, and account takeovers. More important than the sheer number of successful attacks that an organization may suffer may be how much damage these attacks actually cause. Layered defenses, for example, mean that if a cyber attack breaches one security measure, others may still provide mitigation. Ransomware continues to strike all sectors, with CyberEdge finding that 71% of the organizations it surveyed had fallen to such attacks within the past 12 months, which was a 2.5% uptick. Government agencies were hit at a lower rate than other sectors, with 45.8% impact. Surprisingly, many victims also reported paying ransom and getting their data back. But CyberEdge reasoned that this may just reflect the criminals' desire to follow through on their promises in an effort to encourage cooperation from future victims, helping ensure that the attacks remain profitable. But even when cyber criminals do give back the data, there's no guarantee that all of it remains usable. Experts say that many times data is so corrupted and too damaged from the locking process to be able to restore anything useful. IT teams need to realign their backup and data protection strategies. With an estimated 90% of governments in education, respondents reported a mismatch between how much data these organizations can afford to lose after an outage and how often they backed it up. 60% of public sector respondents said that they could endure losing an hour or less worth of high priority data, and 54% cited a similar data loss tolerance for normal data. Some experts are saying the ransomware industry may have peaked, or at least be approaching its peak, as governments and law enforcement train more efforts on combating, disrupting, and defending against it. 2021 and 2022 have seen new efforts to push back on the crime, including states seeking to ban the ransomware payments, new ransomware and incident reporting requirements that have both been signed into law. Still, hackers seem to continue to find profit in ransomware as victims continue to pay. Cyber extortion has served to be a profitable money-making approach for some countries that are facing difficulties raising legal funds. And in fact, experts have said that North Korea funded their entire nuclear program using cybercrime. And they warn that depending on how long the sanctions continue, in Russia, you may see more government-supported actors using cybercrime there. As agencies look to improve their security against cyber threats, the user workforce cannot be ignored. In 42% of instances, ransomware attackers got access to organizations after users clicked on malicious links. This puts a spotlight on cyber awareness campaigns, letting employees know never click a link that you don't recognize. That wraps up this episode of Telecom News Bytes, brought to you by 911 Inform, delivering next-generation 911 solutions for Carey's Law and the Bombs Act compliance today, and making every second count when it matters the most. Visit them on the web at 911inform.com. Telecom News Bytes is published every Monday through Friday and is available on podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the iHeart Radio Network. Remember to like and subscribe. That way you'll be immediately notified whenever a new podcast is published. You can follow me on Twitter at Fletch911. Check out the rest of my blogs and podcasts on Fletch.tv. And thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Stay safe and take care.